Hello! This is me going to be talking about Bethesda for a little bit while moving through this. The RPG book for Fallout, the role-playing game. Pretty good book, honestly, and the game system isn't that bad. Pretty good. 2d20. Lot more, a lot easier to work with than Dungeons & Dragons 5e. May not seem like it at first, but to me it is. So, a couple of nights ago, someone mentioned that people are hoping Bethesda is going to release another game before Fallout 5, and rumors are it's going to be a New Vegas 2. With the success with how popular the show is from Amazon and the increased sales of 76, and Fallout 4 getting another influx of people buying the game, and then them trying mods for the first time because some of those people have never played with mods before, and they're able to do it. Most of those purchases are being done on console, which have access to mods. Free mods through Bethesda.net. So, I'm more worried about, what I'm going to talk about isn't something I'm worried about for if they release a New Vegas 2 right now, or in the next year or so. It's more along the lines I'm worried about it for Fallout 5, ES6, or any game afterwards, that they allow modding support to happen. By allow modding support to happen, it's not going to be the same thing we have currently. Yes, the joke is Bethesda makes the platform and the modders make the content. That's a joke. Or the Bethesda makes the game, but the modders fix the game. Well, over the past 12 years or so, we've seen Bethesda do a lot of stuff that might be them going towards a future release in which modding is so heavily regulated and controlled by them that we're never going to see mods like the Legacy of the Dragonborn or Ordinator again. Or the Commonwealth, War of the Commonwealth. Or even the Enclave, the massive Enclave storyline that is a mod. I know the Creation Club got this small little thing, but there's if those who actually use mods know that you can get a giant version that starts from the very beginning of you being on defrosted, all the way to the end, giving you an alternate storyline altogether. And other things like a little bit of depravity, which is an alternate quest line for the mod that actually has you go up against the Minutemen. I think I haven't completed it, but it's fun. But moving on. The reason I think this is because Skyrim clearly made for consoles. That's what everyone knows by now. It was made for consoles in mind, as in being the first thing they thought about. The way the menus work, and the fact that they streamlined it to fit better with what people wanted on console. The audience, which that's fine. You go for the audience that's going to sell you the most units. That's fine. But then when they ported it to PC, the menu stayed the same. So people had to fix it to make it work better for mouse and keyboard. Which I very much appreciate that. Sky UI, by the way. Then you have Fallout 4, which is just a console game that looks more like they ported it to PC. The way the menus interact with each other, the fact that the default for the key bindings is all wrong in some cases, and it seems like the entire thing is only made to be played with controller, not keyboard or mouse, which that very well might be the case, or maybe it's just me. I do know that people remap the key bindings as soon as possible to make it more streamlined, but once again, that might just be me. So, what else is there that might indicate them pushing a certain direction of modding? Well, for those of you who don't remember, years ago, Bethesda and Steam were working on something to do paid mods through Steam's Workshop, and that was a disaster because they didn't have anyone curating the mods that were coming in. So, big disaster there. They stopped that. Then a few years later, Creation Club comes out, and we have paid for mods. Paid mods. So there we go, paid mods. And we still have Creation Club producing content every now and again to this day. What else do we have? So that alone doesn't mean much, because if you make enough content, there's a way for you to make money off of people, because Creation Club was available for consoles. So a way for modders to sell their content to people on console, because consoles don't have a way to mod their stuff. So it was a great way for console players to be able to enjoy some extra quests, essentially keep playing the game. Well, then we have Bethesda.net. It's a mod hosting platform that allows people to make mods for consoles and Xboxes, because I don't know if places that's connected is connected to the Bethesda.net. If they are, that's fantastic, but I don't think they are currently. So now you have consoles able to download actual mods. Some mod authors ported the mod over to that kind of system, and they saw an influx of people donating to their Patreon and PayPal, whatever, just having fun with it. I'm glad that consoles are now able to experience the creativity of some people in the form of the mods. Now, this might be a bad thing, due to the fact that Bethesda says they love their modding community because it keeps the game active and keeps people playing their game for years and years and years. But think about it this way. If the next Elder Scrolls game comes out and it sucks, people aren't just gonna, keep playing it. They're gonna go back to Skyrim. And that means they won't be selling any more they're really not going to be selling any more copies of Skyrim. Skyrim is made as money. Unless Skyrim sells another 2 million copies, or another 10 million copies, shareholders really don't care. They want that new game to sell. If that new game sells, and then it suffers a lot of returns, or it doesn't sell any of its DLC, that's going to be a big hit compared to Skyrim. Same thing with Fallout 5. If Fallout 5 comes out and no one buys it, if people buy it but they don't buy any of the DLC, that's still going to be a hit to Bethesda. Not a very big one, but still going to be a hit. So what's a way to make sure that people continue to buy the game and they can continue making money off these two games if they don't do as well, and people go back to the previous titles? Well, modding, right? Mods will save games. Well, what if the mods became so controlled on those two platforms, those two games, that Bethesda's actually able to, make money off all the mods that people make? Because right now, they have everything in place to just stop openly offering mod support to PC. They have everything they need right now on console. Most of their copies sold, well over half the copies sold, were sold on console. I'm sure there's people who bought it on 360, then One, then X. And then they probably bought a PC console at some point, a PC version of the game at some point. There's people who probably have it on every console because they, at one point in time, owned every console. So, what am I getting at? So, let me lay it out. Because the games are being developed with console in mind with console being the first thing in mind more and more, as evidenced with Skyrim and Fallout 4 and then Fallout 76, how it's set up. And the fact that they have their own modding platform that allows people to make mods for console, with the Creation Club and everything else running as it is, and the fact that given the numbers that are available to us, we can say that up just over a sixth of the total amount of copies sold of Skyrim was sold on PC. And that's purely based off of downloads of 2 versions of the same mod on 2 different versions of Skyrim. That's all I can say about that. It could have been, maybe it was 2 million maybe 20 million copies sold on PC. That's still a third of the total amount of copies sold, which still mean they made a lot of money off Skyrim on console. Once again, I don't know the exact numbers. Only Bethesda knows the exact numbers, and they're not going to talk to us about it. So, I think Bethesda, as a Hail Mary, well, maybe not Hail Mary, but as a way to stop modders from being able to make content better than them, so that people buy the next title, people buy the DLC, people buy this stuff off the Creation Club, basically to bolster their own sales, they may restrict the tools to only be available on Bethesda.net as an in-browser set of tools. They already have the Snap technology for making maps from Doom. And then you have, because they're working with Microsoft, by the way, Bethesda is working with Microsoft because they are doing Microsoft exclusive shit. There is a chance that they may have Halo Forge stuff. You know, that system, it may run with Skyrim's engine. Or maybe they do, well, not Skyrim, but ES6 and Fallout 5. It may run with a similar engine so that it could use the Forge stuff, and maybe they make their own version of it. What I'm saying is we might get into a situation where you're making mods and content either in-game or on a website browser connected to Bethesda.net. And those would be the only tools to make mods with, make new content with, make plugins with. What does this mean? Well, that means PC may not even get a release once they get all this stuff worked out. Maybe the next 2 games come out like they're supposed to. But they have all these extra modding features to make it all these extra features that make it easier to do it without having to wait for the mod tools and wait for the script extender to come out and wait for all these other people to do this stuff to make the better mods. Maybe all of it is done on this browser website and in game. So whenever an update comes out, it's all automatically updated. How convenient would that be if all your mods and all the stuff you made and downloaded was automatically updated every time the next patch comes out for the game? That would make lives a lot easier in most cases. Would people get mad if there's no PC release? Yes, they would. Is it going to bankrupt the company? No, it won't. Is it going to have people boycott the company? They can try, but eventually people say, well, I'll give it a shot. Because some people, if they like the franchise enough, they will find a way to play the game on either the console they want to play it on, by either getting the console or borrowing a console, or they'll wait till someone finds a way to get it running on PC. Does that mean there's never going to be a PC release of these games that decide to do console-based only? No. They're probably going to wait a year or 2 and then release the games on PC as the big PC port, with your own modding tools, but have access to all the Bethesda.net content that was made over the last however long it took between the initial release to the PC release. They're going to double dip the fuck out of the next 2 games. The next 2 mainline games. They're going to double dip as much as they can. If they can delay the PC release by a couple of months, they're going to. Why am I focused on them either delaying the PC release or breaking the PC release or making the PC release not as enjoyable as the console release? Because of Microsoft. Microsoft makes more money off selling the consoles because then you're invested in the hardware. Even if they lose money on selling the consoles, that's the thing. Most consoles are sold at a loss, so that you get invested in the system and then you have it. and now you're buying games for it. Even at a loss, even selling the consoles at a loss, they still have to make sure they're priced high enough to where you feel like you have no choice but play on it. For instance, if you spent, let's say, $360 at the time, if you spent $300 on an Xbox 360, and you could have spent that on a graphics card, so you can actually play the PC games you want to do, well, you spend it on the 360 because it's all right there, it's ready to go. And now you're invested in it. Now you're going to buy games for it. Same thing with the more expensive consoles that have been out in the last few years. You become invested in it. So, overall, I think that if Bethesda may, this 100% is may, try to push people to make plugins and add-ons and mods through BethesdaNet on the next 2 mainline releases. We might see some of these features if they decide to make a game before Fallout game before Fallout 5. We might see some of these features be released during that game's life cycle to get it ready for the main series, the mainline series games. And that's just going to be the following: better in-browser tools to let you make add-ons and mods. Some kind of equivalent to Halo Forge map making technology, if not just snap together stuff like Doom, because once again they have access to all this stuff through Microsoft and Bethesda making Doom. And then and finally the thing that's going to be the death knell of current PC modding is the creation kit and the deck not being fully released, or either not being released, not being fully released, or being released missing features. There are a lot of talented modders, but some of those talented modders need those mod tools in order to make anything they have made without having to rely on so many other mods and plugins people have made to get one mod working. The toolkits help a lot. But anyway, this is me, done. Hope y'all enjoyed the little rant, tangent, alternate reality world, in which Bethesda limits PC modding through their own systems, which, once again, they're sitting there staring at us, and I hope I'm wrong. Anyway, have a good time. Bye-bye.